Our next story involves a wild stag night in the Bay of Plenty, but maybe not the kind you are expecting. This particular evening unfolded last Friday when 90-year-old Whakatane man Bob McNeil was asleep in the caravan he's lived in for the past 23 years. His daughter Claire was staying and the pair was jolted awake when a huge stag, which was fleeing from hunters in the nearby bush, crashed into their place. Earlier today, Bob told me exactly what happened during the stag saga.
We woke up with a start, what's happening, dogs barking and that. And so anyway, then the next thing there was a crash and the dogs had chased it round the corner. And in fact, I've got a great big sliding door on my awning and it bent that badly and backed into my awning of the caravan.
So, Bob, this deer, while it was on the run, it comes barreling into your kind of your caravan set up there. You must have got a hell of a fright.
Yeah, well, we did, because it was the dogs barking and the squealing of the deer, the stag, that woke us up. And then, of course, it moved round the front of the van and backed in through the door. And then the hunters turned up then, they were hunting it. It was up in the bush way up behind us. And the dogs chased it. And, of course, as you know, a deer, that they can jump, like a stag, as they say at the races. And it just leapt over a 7-wire fence around the springs, around our area. Just leap over that, no trouble, and finished up down by my caravan.
So what happened to the deer then? So did you come out and have a look?
Oh, yeah. It was kicking around in the awning, excuse me, and then the hunters arrived, you see, and they called the dogs off, and anyway, it got into the awning then, and I could see it wasn't in the best of health. And anyway, I said to Claire, my daughter, I'll go out and see if I can drag it at all by the horns. And Claire said, "You're not going out that door, Dad. It'll tear you to pieces with its antlers." So I didn't go out the door at that stage. And then, anyway, the hunters turned up and they said, well, we'll go back home. They lived down the main road further somewhere. They said, we'll go back home and come back with the truck, which had a winch on it, you see. They said, we'll winch the deer, the heavy deer, you can't lift them or anything. And they said, we'll come back with a winch and winch it out of the awning and onto the truck, you see.
So have you got to share in the spoils, Bob, of the venison? Did you get to share in the spoils?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I got heaps. Yeah, the hunters really looked after me.
Are you fond of a bit of venison?
Oh, I've got heaps of venison. Yeah, I gave it. I gave most of it to the owners of the camp, and they distributed it around to anyone that liked deer, that liked venison.
Fantastic.
Oh no, the hunters were very good, and they also gave me some money for any damage it had done. You see, out in the awning.
And did you get
a couple of things like a heater and a fan that had got wrecked with it in there,
So, Bob, did you get a good trophy picture with the deer?
My daughter Claire, she took a whole lot of photos. And once the deer had died, I knew it was dead. I went out and so I was sitting like riding a horse, you see, sitting astride of the deer, and I held its antlers up, Oh, well, that's my trophy sort of thing.
Bob the Conqueror. Hey, so tell me, how long have you been living in the park there?
I've been living there for 23 years.
That's a long time to be in a caravan park, Bob. Do you just like the lifestyle?
It's a lovely life.
And Bob, it sounds like there's never a dull moment if your life is anything to go by.
You're dead right. The owners there down at the shop, you see, Kevin and Fiona Haig, they own the place. And they said nothing ever happens down here. It always happens up there. They call it Awakeri Heights where we are. We're sort of up a little bit on a bit higher ground. And they were going crook because they said nothing ever happens down here at the shop. It always happens up there.
And if you want to check out exactly what happened at Bob's place, go on to our Facebook page and website and you can see those photos and the video of Bob wrangling the stag there.